All right, everybody. Woo! All right. Hopefully, everybody got the news that I'm going live at 7 o'clock now, Pacific Standard Time, versus 8 o'clock. It's been a little crazy with the kiddos, trying to get everything done, get them to sleep, all that good stuff. So, all right, some people are joining in. So, looks like word got out. So let's see, in Facebook land, how you doing? Instagram land, Joel's College of Swing Era Knowledge. Monday nights, jazz. Tuesday, Charleston. I'm like Mr. Rogers right now. Won't you be? Won't you be? Oh, where was I? Tuesday, Charleston. Wednesday, Lindy Hop and Jitterbug. Thursday is our 7 o'clock Thursday evening swing in Spokane class. Friday, Shag. Saturday, Bell and Bell Swing. And Sunday, teachers and organizer chats. Okay. Let's see if anybody's out there. Chime in if you're out there. Make a comment. Let's see. Okay. So, tonight's topic is jazz. And what I thought about doing tonight, let me turn this off. So what I thought about doing tonight is talking about 2 count, 4 count, 8 count, question mark count. What I mean by that is we're going to take some particular jazz steps, and we are going to play around with the count of it. Typically, I would say typically a jazz step, at least for dancers, is taught in a full 8 count, if you will. So let's get down to it. So 2 count, 4 count, 8 count. For example, let me do this again. My suggestions from friends out there. Whoop, there we go. Check, 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 check. All right, I'm gonna turn around so you can see me. And I got my mic so you can hear me. Okay, let me turn this down so you can see my feet. Okay, for example, the first step is a Suzy-Q. Suzy-Q, we can either start up on 8 or down on 8. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to go down on 8 for the sake of this. So if I go 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and I'm back to the beginning. So from this angle, if I'm over here and I start 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So on a couple notes on a Suzy-Q for some quality of movement, I'm going to get down, I'm going to bend my knees on this Suzy. And so, at least for the way I did it on 8, I'm going to bring that right foot in front. And then I'm going to step out, I'm going to open up my knees. And I'm going to bring it in and out. I don't have to move with it. I could be here, shoot, 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 bada, shoot, shoot. So I can bring everything back to the center versus stepping out and moving with it. But what I like about a nice Suzy-Q is getting down so you can see it from the side. Shoot, 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 harder, shoot, 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 harder. So I get that bend in the knees, that hitch or that little pitch in the hips, and I'm bringing that knee up as I step out into that movement. So again, this would be the way I would teach a vanilla Suzy-Q, a full 8 count. Watch that again from the back. If I go 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, transition, and 8, left side in front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and I'm ready to go again. So the point of tonight's lesson is that I'm going to now do this 8 count pattern in a 4 count pattern. So it's going to be the same movement, but I'm going to do a 4-count pattern. So watch this. From the back, I'm going to go 8, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you can see I shortened the amount of time that I do the normal 8-count pattern. Watch that from the front. So if I'm here, I'm going to go 8, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 count, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So, going along with our theme, 2 count, 4 count, 8 count, question mark count. So I did an 8 count, I did a 4 count, now I'm going to do a 2 count Suzy-Q. So here I am from behind, and I have 8, 1, and 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. So 2 count, 8, 1, and 2, 1, and 2, 1, and 2. 2 count, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sorry, 4 count, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3. 8 count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 count, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 count, 1, and 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8, 1, and 2, 1, and 2, 1, and 2, 1, and 2. So, you'll notice a little bit on that last time, I just kept counting to 8 a few times through, but I was changing the time that I was doing that Suzy-Q. So I took a basic Suzy-Q element and I made it an 8 count, a 4 count, and a 2 count. And so the question mark count is, you can change up this basic jazz step as much as you want. You can make it 37 counts if you want to, 30, whatever, it doesn't really matter. So that's the question mark part of this. So now let's go into another element, a Shorty George. So now from the back, if I'm here, normally if I taught a Shorty George, I would teach 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, going through that full 8 count from the front. 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A couple quality of movement notes on a nice Shorty George. So I'm going to do a kick ball change. I'm going to take it to the side. And when I do that ball change, I'm going to take my left foot slightly in front of my right. So it's not a big step forward. It's about half a foot. And then on the foot that I'm stepping on, so when I do a kick ball change, my weight goes on my left foot. I'm going to let my knees drop down to that left side. Now the trick to a really good Shorty George is to keep your feet, your hips, and your shoulders square or straight as you go down the path, and your knees go back and forth. So I'm just stepping those little half steps, and I'm moving right and left with the knees. Now, depending on the sapidity, I love that word, in your knees, that's going to determine how much you kind of move back and forth. So if you have bad knees, your Shorty might just look like this. 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just getting a little bit of motion in there. But if your ligaments are all good and you're all solid, you have 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you get all that nice motion in there. So again, that's the way I would break down a Shorty George with a full 8 count. So now let's take that into a 4 count. So I might go 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7. All right? So if I'm counting it here from the front, you'll see 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3. We might want to go 8, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7. So what I'm doing there is, remember on those Suzy-Qs, we kind of had an and 8, boom, and switch to the other side. So if I go 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, then, or if I go all the way through, I'm sorry, if I go 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's it. So, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. What did I do? Shoot, shoot, shoot. I went 8, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I get that little and in there to switch back and forth from my right and my left. That's if you want to be doing like Shorty George's on both the right side and the left side. Don't stress out too much about that. All the jazz steps that you ever learn or ever do, homework should always be, however you learn it on the other foot, and then learn it going opposite directions. Be ambidextrous in tonight's lesson, changing the count of it. So if you learn something that's specifically 8 counts, see if you can make it a 4 count, a 2 count, etc. Okay, so now if I do the Shorty George in a 2 count, 8, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 1, and 2, 1, and 2, 1, and 2, 1, and 2, 4, 8, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7. Again, switching back and forth. So I'm just taking the quality of movement of a Shorty George and shortening it into a 2 count pattern. And there's a couple elements to it. There's that little kickball change, which we could even take that out. Yeah, that's a 2 count jazz step, a kickball change. So we go to that, and I go 1 and 2. Right? So that's a 2 count jazz step. Kickball change. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. All right? Now, if you want to switch that to the other foot, you're going to have to go 1 and 2 and now my left foot. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So you could do, this is an interesting little thing, you can do an 8 count of a kickball change and add in the element of what we call a boogie back. So I'm going to clap with that kickball change, get down a little bit more, move back with it. 8 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7. So we normally will teach that as an 8 count, like at the end of the shim sham. So from the back, I have 8 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7. You can see from the side, I get low. 8 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7. Using a whole 8 count. Well, we can change that to a 4 count. 8 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 count. Yeah? Or a 2 count. 8 and 1. Or think of it as 1 and 2. You'll notice I keep counting 8 when I step into the jazz. It's not a golden rule, but typically a lot of the jazz steps will start on the 8. And so you might be getting confused when I say 8 and 1. If I start counting it a different way, if I say 1 and 2, it's a 2 count pattern. So it all depends on how I can say B, buzz, buzz. It doesn't matter, A and B, C, D, E, F and G, H, I, J, Joel and Jackie. It doesn't matter how you want to say it. It's just a matter of thinking of it as this smaller chunk. The basic element is typically a 2 count chunk, a kickball change, right? A Suzy-Q, Shorty George, Shorty, Shorty, 1, 2, 1, 2. And so now you've got all these cool little elements piecing them all together. And let me go back to that kickball change again, because now if you want to switch your feet, then again you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, or right and left. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and right and left. From the back, kickball change and right and left. 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and right and left. Now again, on the jazz step known as the boogie back, we typically repeat the right foot. 8 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7. Or again, if you want to hear the 1, 2 of it, I can start counting it. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So again, just kind of taking that motion and doing it for a full 8 count. So now we've got a Suzy-Q, a Shorty George, and a boogie back. Okay, what if we work on, let's say, a move called an applejack? All right, so if we have an applejack from the front, we go 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from the back. 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now again, you can see that element of a kickball change in the beginning. For this particular, so I can take a kickball change and get ready for a shorty, or a kickball change and get ready for an applejack. So an applejack is twisting your feet and you're just stepping into it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Again, the basic pattern we typically teach will be 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then start it over again. 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But now I'm going to do it in a 4 count. 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7. 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7. 2 count. 8 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7. Yeah, so it just starts, it feels good to keep going in the pattern. Oh, yeah, as I'm watching the screen. Another fun thing on the applejack is as your feet are going side to side. Let me move back a little more, you can see my feet. As my feet are going back and forth, I'm going to take my hands in the opposite direction. So the hands can go back and forth here, and then the knees are going to go in the opposite direction. Okay, there's a lot of different things you can do with your arms. I didn't even talk about the arms and the other steps, so my apologies for that. But again, what we're talking about tonight, what we're focused on is the rhythm, the number of counts that you're hoping to accomplish in these different elements. So far, no comments on Facebook. I wonder if everybody saw the change in time. No big deal. You guys can watch this later, comment if you want. I'll answer some stuff later if you want to. Okay, watch the apple jacks from the back. So here I am, and I have 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7. Yeah. So now we've got Suzy-Q's, Shorty George, Boogie Backs, and Applejacks. So the next motion I'm going to work on, and you're going to see how we put this all together, is a movement called a rock, or a cherry picker, depending on historically where you've heard it from. And it's not so much with the feet, but I'm just going to kind of rock up and down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And again, a normal pattern that we would teach is 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Or 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then go to the next, you can do that right arm. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But again, I can do it as a 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, or 2 count. 1, 2. And now I'm just into another motion. So it's just taking this element, which we normally repeat. Raising up, down, get the cherries, drop them in the basket, pick them, drop them in the basket, shoot, ha, 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 and then just changing the count of that to be an 8 count, a 4 count, or a 2 count, or whatever count. Oh yeah, Applejacks are a good one. Okay, good, people are chiming in. Okay, word got out. All right, so now, here's the moneymaker for tonight's lesson, is now when you're stringing things together, these are the games you can kind of play with yourself, especially being social distancing and not going out. write down some jazz steps that you know and do everything in an 8 count. So I'm going to do a Suzy-Q, an Applejack, a Boogie Back, and a rock. I'm going to do it all in an 8 count. So check it out. So I'm going to Suzy-Q. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shorty George. 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boogie Back. 8 and 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5. Applejack. 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a rock. And a 1, 2, 3, a 5, 6, 7, 8. Watch that from the front. So I Suzy at 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shorty George. 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boogie Back. 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Applejack. 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I rock. And a 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. Now, let's do that same pattern, but we're going to do everything in a 4 count. So now I'm going to do, let me make sure I got my pattern right. Suzy, Shorty, Boogie, Apple, Rock. Suzy, Shorty, Boogie, Apple, Rock. So I'm going to go 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, and 1, 3, 4. Woo, that was fun. It's harder to remember what it was than to do it. So again, I'm going to go Suzy, Shorty, Boogie, Apple, Rock. Suzy, Shorty, Boogie, Apple, and a rock. Huh, huh, huh. Now, every one of those being a 4 count if you're counting that. New time, glad I found you. Yes, sorry about that, everybody. Last week, my schedule changed up. The way it was looking, it was, I could only do 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock was really tough for us and the kiddos. So my schedule freed up. I made it to 7. And if there's feedback on if there's a better time globally that I do these, my time is pretty much really open the next 2 weeks. So for now, I'm just going to go consistent 7 o'clock all this week and see how it goes. They're going to be out there. It's like a tweet, lives there forever. So hopefully I don't say anything too stupid to get me in trouble. All right. So we did Suzy, Shorty, Boogie, Apple, Rock, and a 4 count. Now let's do a 2 count. Oh my goodness. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8, and 1, 2. So we go. Suzy, Shorty, Boogie, Apple, Rock. Boom. Now, when you start stringing this stuff together with only a 2 count, did I miss a Suzy, Shorty, Boogie, Apple? Oh, I got it. When you start stringing 2 together, it can look a little frantic. And so I think that's why when we do these steps, we will typically stick with it for an 8 count pattern. Because like you do it, like you start the step, your body starts to feel it, it's feeling good, we're ready for an exit, right? So like 2 counts for each one of those, so 8 counts. Like I start it, 2 counts. I'm starting to feel it. It feels good. Let me work on my exit, right? As far as like doing an 8 count Suzy-Q or an 8 count Applejack or an 8 count Shorty George. Oh, that, no worries. Good. Okay, people are chiming in. Okay, so again, being ambidextrous. Oh, let me do the, yeah. So let's do the 4 count. Well, let's go, started everything on the right foot. Now I'm going to do everything on the left foot. So I'm going to start the Suzy-Q, 8 count. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boogie Back, 8 and 1. Oh, sorry. I'm doing 8 count. So I'm doing what? I'm doing, Suzy, Shorty, Boogie, Apple, Rock. Suzy, Shorty, Boogie, Apple, Rock, starting with the left foot. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. Okay, watch that from the front. 8 count. We go. Starting with the left foot. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that was 8 foot of Suzy, Shorty, Boogie, Apple, Rock, doing everything on the left foot. Again, in all your jazz, try to be ambidextrous. Now let's do everything in a 4 count. So I'm going to go 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. From the front, left foot. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 3, 5. Boom. So I think I messed up my sequence there. I think I did a boogie before my shorty. So, but again, you can see how you start stringing these things together. Now, again, this is going to look a little bit frantic, but I'm going to do the Suzy. Let me get my sequence right. Suzy, Shorty, Boogie, Apple, Rock. Suzy, Shorty, Boogie, Apple, Rock. 2 count, left foot. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8, 1, 2. Left foot from the front. 8, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8, 1, 2. And so obviously I'm just shortening everything to 2 and doing it really quick. So, but you can see how I'm doing those individual jazz steps in a row. So you got to play around with these things. Play around with, one, what is the repertoire? I think I asked that last week when I started out. What is your repertoire of jazz? If you know the classic routines like Shim Sham, Big Apple, Alan Leon Shim Sham, Dean Collins Shim Sham, Trickeration, all those routines have a great wealth of individual steps in them when you take it outside of the actual routine. So what's your repertoire? What steps do you know? Now start to play with them. Start to play with the counts. And then when you're dancing, if you hear something in the music that has a feel like a shorty or a feel like a Suzy or something like that, then you're ready to go for it. So at the very beginning of this video, we did go through kind of the basic fundamentals of a Suzy-Q, a Shorty George, Applejack, Boogie Back, and a rock as far as like the movement goes and whatnot. And so I guess you can consider these things, dare I say, common jazz moves. And one trick to anything in life, I think, is doing the common things uncommonly well. In other words, work on your quality of movement on a boogie back. For example, like you're like, oh yeah, I know the boogie back. You're right, boogie back. And so there's no quality of movement. Get that butt down. Versus, right, Shorty George. Yeah, I know a Shorty George. I know a Shorty George. Yeah, so you got to put a little something in your steps. Do the common things uncommonly well. Understand the count of all of these jazz steps and start to play with putting them all together. Again, all these classic routines, the Shim Sham, the Big Apple, and stuff like that. Back in the days, somebody put these sequence of steps together. And, we've passed them along for decades, and there's a great history to this dance that we want to pass along. But then don't forget, like, take the individual step out and create your own jazz routine or start to utilize them in your own dancing. And so, like, as my old pal Don Hampton would say, you got to feel the music, feel the step where it is. And my mentor, Ryan Francois, a step without intention is not a step. So when, like, have an intention to do a really good Suzy-Q, an exceptional Shorty George, like, really put your energy into the step, and then people will see it and all that good stuff. And then my good old pal Norma Miller, oh, rest her soul, she was a stickler for doing things right. A quick little story about Norma. I brought Frankie, Norma, and Chaz to San Diego. I think this was back in 2007 or something like that. And we taught a lot of the San Diego dancers the Big Apple. And the entire time I was, because some of them were stressing out, and I said, don't worry about the steps. Just have fun. Show that you love the dance. Just have fun with it. Don't worry about the steps. Don't worry about screwing up. Don't worry that you're performing in front of the people that actually did it back originally for the movie. Like, no stress, no details, no stress. And so they come out and everybody's, we do the whole Big Apple and people are jumping around and we had such a good time. And Frankie's like, yeah. And Chaz is like, yeah. And Norma goes, you guys didn't get the steps right. You got to work on your steps. And I think in the video, you'll hear me during the Q&A. It's like, so after I performed, I grab the mic. I'm like, what'd you guys think of that, Frankie? Yay, Chaz. Yay, Norma. You didn't do it right. And I'm like, oh, you are precious. I couldn't think of any other word for Norma at that moment than precious. But I learned something that evening. I knew this about Norma, but when it happens specifically to you, especially you as a teacher telling people, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry about getting the steps right. And then the Norma Miller says, you didn't get the steps right. Whew. She was a stickler, but I appreciate that because, again, it goes into your homework. It goes into your quality of movement. Make sure you're doing this stuff right. There's a rich history to this dance. It's important. It's important for you to understand these steps. It's important for you to dance them well, have intention, feel it. It's all good. Okay. That's hilarious. They were the, Sharon says on Facebook, they were the original So You Think You Can Dance judges. Yes, for sure, man. All those old timers would be like, you're doing the step wrong. And okay. Suzy, Shorty, Boogie, Apple, Rock. So, yeah, okay, so there's your sequence if you want to practice at home. Suzy, Shorty, Boogie, Apple, Rock. Yes, that's my sequence. I realize your enthusiasm and love what you said. You have to do the common things uncommonly well. Yes, that's your goal. I love it. That's a good goal to have in dance and life and everything. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to put some music on. And I'm not going to worry about my sequence of Suzy, Shorty, Boogie, Apple, Rock. I'm just going to do the jazz steps. Sometimes I'm going to do it as a full 8. Sometimes I'm going to do it as a 4. I might switch it to the left foot or the right foot. But I'm just going to play with these 5 elements: Suzy-Q, Shorty George, Boogie Back, Applejack, and Rocks. I'm just going to play with these 5 elements with some music. Okay, so check this out. Let's, oh man, I keep getting dinged on music on some of this stuff. Let's see if this will work. George G. Thanks, brother, for letting me use some music. Wednesday night hop. Maybe if I don't play it too long. Okay, let's see. Play the music too long. I don't want to get dinged. It's not like they're flagging and taking videos down, but I just want to be mindful of that. So George G, thank you for giving me permission to use some music. I'm going to find some of your guys' public domain stuff and all that good stuff. But okay, so that's about 35 minutes now into this session. I think it's a good ending point. So at the end of the music, I think I messed up a count in there somewhere. I tried changing things up, a couple 4 counts. I love doing Suzy-Qs in a 2 count. You'll see that in the video. 8 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5. Very cool stuff. So just play around with this. Your homework takes a sequence of steps. Do them all in the original 8 count pattern that you probably originally learned. Then do it in a 4 count. Do it in a 2 count. Start to string things together. 8 count, 4 count, 2 count. Mix up the sequence. Play around with it. And the more you do these kinds of things, the better you're going to get at stringing any jazz step at any time in your dancing. So I hope you enjoyed tonight. If you watched it later and you found some insight for your own dancing or whatnot, please consider donating. If it's all the stuff you already know, no big deal. But if something really helped you out, think about any like hour class or 30-minute class you might take. I mean, even $1 helps out, folks. So please consider donating. And again, this is Joel's College of Swing Era Knowledge. This comment there at the end there. I played with the timing too, did some halftime. Yes, that's another good thing you can do. So you slow it down versus keeping everything on the beat. 8, 1, 2, 3. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Beautiful. Yes, that's a great way to start playing around with things as well. So change do it half time versus keeping everything on the beat. So I was talking about taking an 8, a 4, and a 2, shortening on the beat when you're doing it, but like maybe you drag out a Suzy-Q. I'm going to show that because that's a really good point, Katie. I actually want to do that with the music real quick so you can see that. So watch, I like Suzy-Q, so check this out. So regular time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 3, 5, 7, 1, 3, 5, 7, 1. Boom. Slow. Regular. Slow it down. Or the losses. Oh, I love it. Yes, thank you for the inspiration. Mixing slow and fast. Oh, so good. Yes, this is the stuff I'm talking about. Play around with all these jazz steps. Once again, Joel's College of Swing Era Knowledge. Monday, jazz. Tuesday, Charleston. Wednesday, Lindy Hop and Jitterbug. Thursday, our local, strictly local Thursday evening swing here in Spokane, Washington. Friday, Shag. Saturday, Bell and Bell Swing. Sundays, Teachers and Organizers. All that stuff is out there. Check out the Facebook events on my personal page. Jot down some questions you might have, and then we can take it from there. Yes, yes, thank you, Katie. So once again, I'm Joel. This is the College of Swing Era Knowledge. If you're enjoying what you're learning, consider donating. Look at the comment above or to the side. I don't know where it is. So night, night. I'm crazy about you.